Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Chris Weidenbar, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is Lieutenant Commander Jocelyn Blowfield. We are honoured to acknowledge Admiral Katsutoshi Kawano, Chief of Staff, Japanese Self-Defence Force, Japan, and Mrs. Mariko Kawano, General Angus Campbell, Chief of Defence Force Australia, and Air Marshal Mel Hupfeld, Chief of Joint Operations Australia, and the accompanying delegation. We are also honoured to acknowledge Mr. Aziz Akanouche, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Rural Development, Water and Forests, Morocco, and His Excellency Mr. Karim Madrek, Ambassador of Morocco to Australia, and the accompanying delegation. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by visitors and by students on behalf of the following schools. From New South Wales, the Scott School Primary Department, Bathurst. From Victoria, Albert Park, South Melbourne Primary School, and St James's Catholic School, Narnagoon. I now ask you all to please be upstanding and join in singing the National Anthem. Thank you. Students, you may be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this National Memorial and Museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway lands. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Lieutenant Alexander George Gilpin. Alex Gilpin was born on the 20th of August 1873 in Sandhurst, Melbourne, the second son of John Alexander Gilpin and his first wife, Dorothea. His father had extensive mining interests in Bendigo and Ballarat, and when he was 6 years old, his family moved to Ballarat, where he attended Ballarat College. When Alex was 15 years old, his mother died. The following year, his father remarried and later had more children. Alex went on to work at a bank before becoming a stock and share broker. He also maintained a strong interest in the military, gaining a commission in the local battalion of the Citizens Militia, along with his older brother, Tom. Alex and Tom Gilpin enlisted for service with the 4th Imperial Victorian Contingent for service in the Boer War in April 1900. They left Australia later that month, arriving in South Africa at a time when the British were conducting a counter-offensive against the previously successful Boer mounted troops. The brothers later separated and did not serve close to one another. In August 1900, Lieutenant Gilpin wrote a letter home to wish his father a happy birthday. In it, he wrote, "We have got into the fighting in real earnest now. We went at full gallop across the open under a very hot fire, and all the troops in the rear gave us a great cheer. The bullets were raining all around us. We took the position and the Boers retired to the next ridge. We only had one man shot, poor fellow." From that point, Gilpin's troops were kept for important scouting details. The day after writing his letter, Lieutenant Gilpin and his men had retired to the Boer village of Otto's Hope. A New Zealand posted there at the time described the village as smelling terribly of dead horse all over the place. "We are almost unable to graze our horses here at all, and it seems much harder to hold this town than the place we were halted at further on." That evening, the garrison in Otto's Hope came under heavy enemy fire. The New Zealand surgeon was not far away when Lieutenant Gilpin was shot. He wrote, "Gilpin was killed by a bullet through his lung and heart. He did not live many minutes and was dead when I got to him." Alex Gilpin is buried in the Zayrus Cemetery. He had been killed on his 27th birthday. His brother, Lieutenant Tom Gilpin, was welcomed home the following year, although his return was tinged with regret for the loss of his brother. His father reportedly felt the loss of his son keenly, but often declared that he was proud to know that his son died in defence of the Empire. Alex was not his only son to die in war. Alex's half-brother Anthony would be killed in action during the landing on Gallipoli in 1915. Alex Gilpin's name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among 605 Australians who lost their lives in the Boer War. A group photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection, where his exact location is unknown. Alex or his brother Tom are either located in the back row, third from the left, or second row, first on the right. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Lieutenant Alexander George Gilpin, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a good evening.